Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb's also a pilot. And Barb Schlinker and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have got to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or just go ahead and search all of the popular podcast platforms like iHeartRadio. You'll find Barb there as well. Every week, Your Real Estate Voice covers great information about the housing market and one of the largest assets most people have, the home. So, Barb, what are we covering today?
Well, Richard, it's going to be fun talking about today's show. The first topic, I wanted to kind of pivot off something that Charles Payne from Fox Business said about how the market forces are affecting home prices and affordability. He made some really good points. And then the second topic is basically for home sellers, what do you do if the house is not selling? We have solutions for every home seller, and all you have to do is just ask us. But I'll go over some examples, and it's different market to market. It's different in the property type. And a lot of people just put that price out there and hope and pray they're going to get it. And when it doesn't happen, they leave that price out there. And that's the problem. They're in denial that it really is worth what the market's willing to pay and not what they think. And the third topic is what to do if you want to buy your next house, but you have a home to sell. We'll talk about all the different options available to people. Usually the worst solution, if you have a house to sell, is to make an offer contingent on your home selling. I got a request like this yesterday. Oh, my buyers love the house, but will your seller accept an offer contingent on their home selling? And it's not on the market yet, right? What do you have, agent? You have a buyer that can't buy. If they have to sell that property before they buy their next home, they can't buy. And you're actually asking the seller to tie up the property and live in hopium that maybe it's going to work out. It just doesn't work out. Now, it's a different story if that thing goes on the market and gets a contract. Now you have a little bit more opportunity to get your offer accepted. So we'll talk about all the different options for that. And the last topic is, it's interesting, but I'm seeing this more and more, that fewer buyers are actually looking to work with their own real estate agents. And that's pretty an interesting trend right now. So I think the buyers really know what's going on in the real estate market much more than people give them credit for. So it'll be fun covering that today. Richard?
Moving into the spring selling season, and we're hearing in the news that President Trump and the administration are working on a couple of things like that 50-year mortgage. Fannie and Freddie buying $200 billion in mortgages, potentially causing interest rates to come on down. So what are you and some of the experts saying about the housing market right now?
Well, we definitely have an affordability crisis right now, especially for the first-time home buyers. We have a lot of military and veterans in this market. So if they buy a home, no money down, their payment, even for a low to average price point of around 400,000, is going to be 3,000 a month. That's pretty steep for most people to afford. And the problem is that renting is less expensive than buying. That was not the case back between 2019 and the middle of 2022. And so it was interesting to see Charles Payne come out. Now, he's more about stock investing and that sort of thing. But he had a really interesting statement that he made on Brett Baer's special report on Fox News last week. And basically, the Trump administration is trying to do the best they can to move the real estate markets a little bit. One of their balloons they floated was a 50-year mortgage, which is not great. It's almost like renting a home. But this is what Charles Payne said. he said there are three things really have to happen to make homes more affordable. The first one is that incomes must go up by 56%. Now, Richard, how likely do you think incomes are going to go up by 56%?
Less than zero?
Yeah, it's just not happening. The other option is home prices to go down by 35%. And what do you think of that happening here?
Less than zero?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Back during the meltdown, when the sky was falling, I'm talking about between, I remember the day. I had a closing in 2007. I'll never forget this day. And we were at the closing table. It was one of those rare events where the buyers and the sellers were there. And at that time, lending was, pretty wild. Mortgage brokers were doing all kinds of stuff. And I believe that mortgage broker knew that there was something going sideways with that buyer's loan. So what we were told was that the lender was trying to sell their business, and we were just waiting for an offer letter to come before we could close. So we're all hanging out at the closing table, waiting. An hour goes by. Finally, the title company comes out and says, "I'm really sorry. The mortgage company just went out of business, so we're not closing today." And it's like, what? I mean, you never see that happen when you're that far in the process. And that was a clue to me that, okay, something weird's going on. I have a lot of friends all across the country that are in real estate in different markets. And they were telling me at the time, yeah, their prices are dropping or they're not going up like they used to. Both were going on in different markets. So it was hard to get your finger on what was really happening at the time. But that was the beginning. Now, what happened in our market is it stabilized from that point, 2007 to 2008. Nothing really happened. It kind of remained flat. The prices didn't drop. Well, that reminds me of the kind of market that we're in right now. The market's kind of flat. They're not really dropping that much. It's kind of, just hanging out. There's more inventory on the market. But what happened after that, there was a big surge in the number of foreclosures. And part of that had to do with the lending that was going on at the time. There is no lending like that now, or very few loans like that now. Things like, hey, I'll give you 100% financing. You get an 80% first, 20% second. And oh, by the way, it's interest only. So your interest rate is 1%, but every month your loan balance goes up. So home buyers were going backwards in equity. So it had to give at some point. It wasn't going to work. And everybody was saying at the time, oh, don't worry, the prices will keep going up. It'll be fine. Well, that didn't happen. That's what the mortgage brokers were saying. The prices didn't go up when all of this came out in the daylight and people understood that, hey, wait, wait a minute. I've got a loan that every month I owe more than I did the previous month, even though I'm making payments. And there were people that could have gotten a fixed interest rate that were begging for this 1% mortgage because the payment was lower. So it was based on this kind of false pretext, and that's what caused the values to go down. So to look at that 35% number in our market during that meltdown, the prices went down about 25%, not 35%. That would be a crash. I don't anticipate that that's going to happen here. What's been going on in the last few years is prices aren't going up. They've been relatively flat, if not working backwards just a little bit. So I don't think that's going to happen. And the activity that I'm experiencing in my business, definitely not happening. I was very busy over the last week, and I'm surprised that all of a sudden the buyers are coming out. The other thing that Charles Payne said is that the rates need to drop by 2.68%. So the rates have been the same now for about a year. And they're about 6.17 conventional, just below 6 for the government loans. And you can buy down those rates a little bit, but it's just been sameness. So if we see a 2-point drop, oh yeah, I think the buyers are going to come out in force. I feel like the buyers are coming out right now anyway. But at the end of the day, if you look at on the national level, the average price is $432. Our prices are higher here in Colorado. The median list price in El Paso County is about 528, average days on market 123. Median list price in Douglas County, which has gone up quite a bit, at 875. That's a lot of money. That makes it very tough for first-time home buyers to get in the door, but their average days on the market only 119. And then you look at Teller County, average price, median list price about 510, and average days on market up to 165, almost 6 months. And Pueblo, average price right now, median list price to about 340, average days on market 120 days. So what we are seeing just in this local market is mostly veterans that bought during the boom at full price, got 100% financing, and that's why we're seeing a bit of a surge in Colorado Springs, in particular in foreclosures. So my name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about why Charles Payne is saying that the market forces are indicating something has to give. Either interest rate, prices, or salaries have to go up. And we're hoping it's interest rates. That would be the best of all. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what should you do if you need to make a move in this kind of market. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. We have experience in any kind of market. Give us a call at 719-301-3900.
So we're talking about Fox's Charles Payne and some of his thought. But Barb Schlinker, I really need to know from you about this particular market, Front Range, Colorado Springs, right now.
Well, according to Barb's world, the market's picking up quite a bit. We're seeing all of a sudden, right in January, usually January for me over the last, 5 or 6 years has been really quiet. But actually December was one of my best months of 2025. January is looking great and February is looking even better. So I think there's more buyers that have been sitting on the sidelines and they're coming out now. But sellers always want the most money. So how do you do that in any kind of market? First of all, you prepare properly to position the home to be the best on the block. You got to price it right. You can't overprice a home. I don't care how pretty the home is. It just never works. And then make sure it's promoted properly. I see a lot of mistakes in that where the pictures are awful. They use their iPhone to take pictures. They don't tell the clients to declutter. It's like, unless that home is way underpriced, it's going to hurt you on the sale. And sometimes homes are not selling. But if they're not selling, if you make a price adjustment, it can work. We had one that we made a price adjustment of a small percentage point just last week. Boom, got 2 offers sight unseen right out of the gate. So the best solution for success is pricing it realistically rather than waiting the 4 or 5 months to get a contract. And keep in mind, only 1 out of 3 homes are getting contracts right now. You want to be the 1 out of 3 homes, and we know how to do that. So give us a call at 719-301-3900. We sell homes all the time. I talk to a lot of agents that pester me after business hours on weekends. Why can't you answer me right now at 7:30 at night on a Sunday? And I don't know why they do that. I think they have another job, to be honest. A lot of them do, but this is our careers. This is full-time. This is what we do. We sell homes all the time. We know what's going on in the market and we can help you. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard.
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She is and should be your real estate voice, your home sold guaranteed realty. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing what to do if your house doesn't sell.